Fantasy Football 101 on Sports Radio 1450 and sportsradio1450.com. You can also check us out on Facebook or email us at fantasyfootball101@gmx.com. Adam Stark, Nick Corelli, Eric Pedigo, Mark Graham, set to take your phone calls all the way up until 9 o'clock this morning. 529-1450 is the phone number, 529-1450. Put the band back together, everyone in the studio this week. How's everybody doing?
I missed you guys.
We missed you too.
Aw.
How's your trip to
It was brutal.
Ohio?
Absolutely terrible.
Not fun.
Worst trip of my life.
That sucks.
Glad to be back.
Well, man, I love hearing Eric complain. That's what I came in here for this morning. I thought, good God, I just hope Eric complains all morning.
I do. I always do. That's my favorite thing to do.
Well, let's ask him what his records are. And
oh, you want to hear some complaining? Yeah.
2 and 4.
I've got a few 2 and 4s in there. I think I actually have a 4 and 2 in the one league that doesn't matter. And in my main league, I'm 3 and 3, and that's where I'm hanging my hat. I'm a strong 3 and 3.
Mark's 6 and 0 in 8 leagues.
I've got one league I'm 6 and 0 in. Everything else, I'm basically 3 and 3. It's just mediocrity so far this season.
I'm sitting at 5 and 1, 4 and 2, and 2 and 4. How you doing over there, Nick?
3 and 3, 1 and 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm in 4th place in the Roto League.
All right. Well, that ain't bad.
You still got plenty of time to get back up in that league.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
We got a phone call ready?
We've got 2.
Awesome.
Excellent.
That.
Let's go to them. We will tell you who to sit, who to play, who to add, or who to drop this week. Also bring you an updated injury report and bring you our studs, duds, and sleepers for the week. And if there's time, we'll talk a little trade bait as well. But let's take a phone call. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101 on Sports Radio 1450.
Well, glad to see Nitro and E-Dog made it back.
Yes, sir.
I was mostly worried about Nitro. I knew E-Dog was with the family.
Party.
What's your excuse, Nitro?
Well, I heard what my excuse was. I don't necessarily, I don't appreciate that so much. But, no, I was actually in Memphis last weekend.
Oh, it's all good fun, buddy.
When cyber meets reality.
Hey, it's all good. I tell you what, the show is always better when you got the 4 of you guys together. But Grammer and Stark did a great job.
Oh, they held it down, didn't they? Those guys are good.
Oh,
they're pros. They're pros.
They did. I tell you, Grammer kind of mentioned something the other, actually might have been about 2 weeks ago or something. It's really, to tell you the truth, it's just great fantasy strategy. I think it was maybe E-Dog, or it was something where he picked up Sanchez. He didn't even need a quarterback, but he knew that he was playing.
Yeah.
He knew that he was playing somebody else. So, seriously,
It was me.
That's just kind of... Yeah, okay, there you go. See, that's what I'm saying. That's something that I would do myself as well. And he probably dropped him on the waiver wire the next week, but he actually did it for strategy-wise.
Yep.
I mean, it's just really, like you guys have, all these general calls, but really that's kind of like when you go deeper into fantasy leagues and stuff, that's exactly what I do. So, I mean, I thought, first of all, that's my first comment, is that I thought that was just an awesome strategic move. And Grammer, did it help you? Did it actually, did he get a worse quarterback, or what happened in that whole situation?
No, honestly, I think he ended up...
I got to bet it. This is what happened. You grabbed Sanchez, so I went and picked up Sean Hill, who got me like 26 points that week.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter, because that week Mark Graham scored like 354 fantasy points, and it wouldn't have mattered. I had a terrific week, and I still lost by like 60 points, and I'm not kidding. Like,
everyone I played that week had a career year. I mean, it was funnier than heck, but it was rough. But there's someone else in another league I'm in that's basically done the same thing. They've got 4 tight ends on their roster because of this Dallas Clark and all the situation. No, it was for Finley. And I'm thinking, well, okay, now 4 tight ends on your roster. Now that's going just a little bit steep, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, especially like I said last week with roster limits. I mean, in our league, like I said, we can only carry 5 running back. We have a 16-team roster. We start 9. Like you got your 1 quarterback, your 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, kicker, defense. and we can only have 5 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and only 2 tight ends, only 2 defenses, only 2 quarterbacks, basically like that. So, you know, those leagues that you're talking about, you guys, where they have like the 4 tight ends and stuff, are those like big money leagues, or you know, where they're more regulated, or are those just kind of like free leagues, or like not very important leagues where they can, you know, carry that much on a roster?
Well, they're not free, but that's what I was going to talk to you about, LJ. I did like you mentioned that last week, where you have a limit on how many quarterbacks you can have on your roster and tight ends, and I think we may want to vote on that before we have our draft next year, Mark, because that makes sense to me. You can't just stack your roster full of tight ends, and when people go to the waiver wire to get a tight end, especially on a bye, it's one thing to play it strategically, like you said, LJ, and pick up a quarterback when you know someone's going to need a quarterback. But if you have 5 of them already, that's not exactly.
Yeah, it's not when you're paying money, guys. Seriously, and like I said, I mean, we're really competitive in our league and stuff, and so I mean it's really for the fact that you know, just for that reason. I mean, and then it kind of keeps it fun for the most part. I mean, we're all serious. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, gosh, you know, if you're trying to go pick up, like if you have Dallas Clark right now, and you see a guy that's got 4 tight ends, and you're paying, you know, 200 clams, so to speak. Not money. I mean, seriously, that would kind of make a guy mad. I mean, because
absolutely.
it doesn't even keep it fun. I mean, and here's the thing: is, you know, the guy that has those 4 tight ends is not. You know, he's not going to play them all, and I mean, it's just there's kind of limits to it. But anyways, guys, like I said, there's a lot of different suggestions that I think I have said and stuff that actually improve leagues, and I bet you a lot of you guys will probably end up doing it next year, because there's a lot of things that I've learned through the course of the years, just like everybody else. I mean, I'm sure you guys have suggestions that, you know, when you first started out, and you know, kind of how much better you've gotten and what you've learned, you know, that really helps the league. And I really think that blind bidding process really helps out, and I really think that extra win, you know, the 6 teams that get the highest scores, extra win actually helps out. But my question to you, and like I said, I can usually handle the easy ones. Here's the tough one. I really think it is I need 1 wide receiver to start. It's between the 2 Williams boys, and cases could be made for both. Mike Williams in Seattle had 15 targets last week, had 10 catches, 125 yards. Branch is out of there now, so I mean, I think he's going to take off for the rest of the year. Mike Williams from Seattle, I'm really high on him. But now you got the Mike Williams from Tampa, who had a bad game last week against pretty much a tough New Orleans secondary, but he's playing the Rams, which have been a little bit better in you know, in defense. But you know, he is actually at home, a favorable matchup. I'm a big Rams fan myself, so I'm kind of leaning towards actually going to Mike Williams Seattle. I think he's actually going to have a better game. But please, guys, give me an argument where Mike Williams from Tampa would be the starter to go with over Mike Williams from Seattle.
I can't do it.
Well, I mean, it's hard to make a real solid one either way. I mean, I kind of like both those guys, but like you said, the Mike Williams in Seattle, now Branch is gone. I mean, however many targets he had last week, that he seems to be the go-to guy. So I mean, that's probably who you want to go with.
Seattle at home plays very well. Arizona on defense on the road is Jekyll and Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I like the Williams from Seattle better than I do Williams, Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let me. Over the course of the year, who do you guys like better? Because really, you could almost say that Mike Williams from Seattle was a flash in the pan last week. I don't think so. But when you look at overall production, Mike Williams from Tampa Bay has actually been better.
I think Tampa Bay, Mike Williams, has a better quarterback in the long run than I do Seattle. Hasselbeck, he's at the end of the line. I think he's got another year or so, where Freeman, I think, is just beginning his career, and I think has a good 10 years of real good production.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting for somebody else. I didn't want to jump in.
I'm kind of with Mark on this one. I do like Seattle Mike Williams this week, but it seems like, you know, I'm a big believer in consistency. I always try to get the guys on my team, you know, not the guys that post 30 points a week or 30 points one week and then like 6 or 7 the next. I try to get the guys that consistently get me 15, 16 points. So I'd be more inclined as the year goes on to stick with the Tampa Bay version. But this week I like the Seattle version a little better.
Okay. Hey, Nitro, no hard feelings, right, buddy?
Oh, never, ever.
It's all good. Like I said, you guys, hey, great show again, and I'll good luck to your guys' teams. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks for the